I don't normally review a lot of Nintendo stuff on this channel, but I have to say I was really blown away by Kirby and the Forgotten Land. My history with Kirby as a franchise is definitely not shallow, but he's been a series I've always really admired without feeling the need to dive into every single game. The last Kirby game I really found myself really enthralled with was Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii, and every single one on the 3DS, including Star Allies on the Switch, has just never really sucked me in, even though I've heard so many good things about Triple Deluxe as well as Planet Robobot. But when HAL decided to make this game no longer only 2D and really expanded everything by making it more of a 3D platformer, I was really intrigued. This was a series that had been pretty stuck in its ways for almost all of its lifespan and had been doing a good job at it, so I was very curious to see what is Kirby's big 3D outing like, and the demo really intrigued me. Playing the game blew my expectations out of the water. This has got to be one of the most fun and enjoyable platformers on the Switch. I loved everything I did in Kirby. I did not 100% it, but I got the ending of the game as well as did all of the post-game content without having to 100% collect everything, and I had such a blast with it. I was so surprised because it's not a hard game. Kirby is meant for anybody to be able to play it, even on its wild mode. You're not going to be challenged too much on a regular playthrough, but what makes Kirby so addicting to me and it kept me playing it was the levels were just that perfect length. The collectibles were just fun enough. Seeing all the different weird new powers you can unlock or upgrade, or finding the Waddle Dees or all the extra challenges was so fun, and this game had such a great loop of you want to get as many collectibles as possible, not just to make a percentage go up, but to make your home base, Waddle Dee Town, get bigger, have more shops, have more mini games, and the game just does such a good job of making you want to progress as far as you can into the levels as opposed to getting through the levels as quickly as possible. There were even levels that I just had to repeat because I was like, oh, I know I missed this. I know where it was. I gotta go back. On your first playthrough of a level, they feel like just the perfect length, but if you're replaying them and you're just looking for that one specific object you missed, you can burn through almost any level your second time through a couple of minutes. So it's not like you're having to slog through the same environments over and over and over. Now, I have to say, the environments are really interesting for this one. So the perspective of the Forgotten Land is basically, you're in this world, there's a bunch of creatures and there's monsters, but there's no one here. It looks like a society has just upright abandoned it. By the time I finished the game and wrapped up the story, I was so surprised by all the twists and turns and was not expecting any of it, while still having a blast completing everything the game threw at me, and boy did it throw a lot at me. So the gameplay is pretty much your standard Kirby fare though. You're running through levels, you can jump, you can hover, you can suck up enemies, throw them out, absorb their powers. But what I think makes this one interesting is the levels give you just enough to kind of explore so that each room kind of feels like a puzzle without feeling like you're just going through the same path, but this time it's ice, or it's a beach, or it's an amusement park. There are definitely those themes there, but what I really liked about Kirby in this game was the things that kept pushing me of like, oh, I needed to get more coins because I want to upgrade this power. And when you go back to your town, if you have these blueprints, you can upgrade your powers multiple times. So instead of just having like a basic gun, you might be able to have dual wielding guns or a laser gun. Or instead of having a normal sword, you might have like this crazy sword which will shoot laser beams across the stage if you have full health, and various different things like that. The powers were really nice. The upgrades were always really satisfying and felt interesting. One of the nice things is there are these treasure roads that you can unlock as you're progressing. They're not real levels, they're more just like little challenge rooms, and each one will unlock you this treasure, but to do it you have to do a specific set of skills. Maybe you have no powers, maybe you only have the drill power, maybe you have the sword, or maybe you're using one of the new Mouthful Mode powers. These challenge rooms were really nice just because they were perfect little time trials. They had a great reward at the end, and even if you didn't get them all, you didn't feel like you were missing out on much. You were just there for the reward at the end and the experience of having a new level to burn through that's a minute or so long. Now, I mentioned Mouthful Mode, and that's definitely been the most discussed and memed thing about this game. Kirby now, with a certain set of items, can wrap his entire body around it when trying to eat them. He can become a car, he can become the top of a dome, he can have a cone body, he can have water inside him. There are tons of different things that he can be, and the powers are fun because they're definitely gimmicky, but they never outstay their welcome. The one that you're probably going to see the most is like the car. None of the Mouthful Mode powers feel like they're outstaying their welcome. They always found interesting new things to bring to the equation in terms of, oh, how is this puzzle going to work, or how am I going to get across this stage with this power. So I really, really liked the Mouthful Mode. It was definitely something that always made me happy it was there, as opposed to sigh and going like, oh, here we go, it's another gimmick. So I have to really congratulate them on bringing in Mouthful Mode without making it feel like something that was shoehorned into every level, because it's definitely not something that you have to do all the time, and when you are, it's very quick. It's much like when you would pop on a power and pop it off. The game's not expecting you to go through an entire level with the shape of a tire. Now, in terms of length, I think this is a really good amount of bang for your buck. Campaign took me around 10 or so hours, and then getting the post-game content and not even 100%ing everything was around 15 or 16, and I definitely was playing with the mini-games and other things like that a lot more. The Coliseum mode was really, really fun, and there are still so many more challenges I haven't really done. Considering how good the presentation is on this game, I cannot recommend this enough, even at full price. I paid $60 for this, and had a smile on my face the entire time. This has got to be one of the best Switch exclusives I've played in a very, very long time. HAL had absolutely knocked it out of the park. It looks great, whether it be portable or on TV. The music is fantastic. It's got to be one of the best soundtracks that I've heard, not only this year, but out of almost any Kirby game. The composers on this really, really knocked it out of the park, and was just such a surprise. From something we didn't even know was in development last year to coming out in March was so much fun. I'm really glad it kind of re-sparked something in me of like, I was always a very casual Kirby fan, but now I'm going to be going back to past titles, be like, hey, what have I missed? Like, what has this series really brought? Because I know this isn't just a one-off. I know Kirby has had multiple games, and there are so many that I have missed in his library. And I think that's such a great thing of, like, when you're playing a game like this, you roll credits or you play as much of it as you feel like playing at that time. You're not burnt out. You're just motivated to want to continue on to that series. So I hope with all of my being that HAL can continue with this formula into future Kirby games. I hope this isn't just a weird spin-off that was in 3D and the rest go back to 2D. This has just been so much fun. I can't recommend it enough. There's a demo on the eShop if you have not gotten a chance to check it out. It gives you a taste of the opening of the game. Really fun stuff. Let me know if you've played Kirby and the Forgotten Land in the comments below. What did you think about it? And yeah, have you 100%ed it? Is it your favorite Kirby game? Where does it land in the rankings? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoy reviews like this, please consider subscribing. It really, really helps out with the channel. And yeah, I'll see you later.